And here we are, ladies and gentlemen. Cenk Uygur has left the left. Now, he didn't explicitly say that he was leaving the left or quitting the party, but the writing on the wall is clear. Now, Cenk is trying to play defensive. He's saying the Democratic Party is bad. They do bad things. Here's what
We've all been talking about how Anna Kasparian has left the left, and now it seems that she has taken her co-host, Cenk Uygur, with her. I thought it would have taken longer, to be honest, for Cenk to see the light, if you will, because, you know, he has severe TDS, as I've covered on this channel. But hey, it looks like there might be some hope for Unky Chunky after all. Let's see what Cenk Uygur has to say. Let's see what Tim Pool on the Timcast has to say about Cenk Uygur leaving the left.
Become. The response from a lot of people is, Cenk, we know what this means, and we know where you're going. The response from Cenk Uygur, of course, was, I am not abandoning my policy positions because a party is bad, but this is what we all know to be true. You see, I, Tim Pool, a moderate, libertarian-leaning, liberal individual, have not abandoned any of my policy positions. For the most part, they remain the same. I sit here arguing with people from a libertarian perspective on being pro-choice and supporting, to a degree, universal basic health care and taxing the rich. I'm a moderate. I'm not far left on those issues. I am not a libertarian. I do not believe in laissez-faire free market. And I am far right, they say. Now, I'm not far right, of course, but the left says that unless you agree with every single thing, then you are far right. So Cenk Uygur of the Young Turks, congratulations. You joined the ranks of Anna Kasparian, Dave Rubin, Tim Pool, Joe Rogan, RFK Jr., Tulsi Gabbard, Elon Musk. The list goes on of disaffected liberals who have said, y'all are crazy, and then left the left.
Yeah, absolutely. I've said it several times in past videos, but it's this whole notion that, like, whoever doesn't completely agree with every single thing the left wants, well, then all of a sudden you're right wing. And it's like, yeah, like Tim Pool says, Tim Pool's not right wing. And a lot of those other people that he mentioned aren't right wing, but to these lefties, they're right wing, because anything that is slightly right of their position, well, clearly you're a right wing extremist. And the thing is, I'm all for it because it just pushes them over. I think that's a big factor of why we won this election, is that it wasn't just that the right wing voted harder. It's that we had more allies on our side. I mean, look at Trump's cabinet itself. It has RFK Jr., who is not right wing. Tulsi Gabbard, who, yes, now identifies as Republican, I don't think is traditionally right wing. You have Elon Musk, who isn't traditionally right wing. So I think that is why we won this, is because the left have pretty much pushed enough people away from them that now they're on our side. And they have only a small little section on their side. They pushed everyone away from them that now they're the minority. So you could argue that they did this to themselves. But let's continue.
The tweet from Cenk Uygur himself. He says, when I became a Democrat, it was the more tolerant party. Republicans were run by religious nut jobs and corporate robots. Now the Democrats are in a lot of ways the less tolerant party. The least tolerant part is actually the establishment wing of the party that says anyone opposing their anointed leaders is committing heresy. If you try to give constructive criticism to the party to improve it, they drive you from the party while screaming he's not a real Democrat. They hate populists. They have become the corporate robots I couldn't stand. They hate their base. They insult our intelligence by pretending that the donors are not in charge. They think we should be controlled and learn how to follow orders, and they have no idea how elitist they sound. Predictably, their unironic reaction to this post will be heretic. Cenk, respect. Cenk has this clip that went viral where he was yelling at Professor Alan Lichtman, the guy who predicted Kamala would win. And he said, I debated you on this. Your keys were insane. And I'm like, yes, Cenk, you're right. Here's the issue. We all come through the flames at different times. I, of course, realized what was going on with the Democratic Party the whole time. I laughed when Donald Trump won. I still hold many liberal views, and I tried desperately to save the Democrats from themselves in 2019. I supported Andrew Yang and Tulsi Gabbard, despite their leftist views on the border, for instance. Mostly Yang, but all of them. And, you know, here I am now supporting the Republicans across the board. Cenk is now realizing what many of us found out a long time ago. And okay, respect. We all come through the flames in our own time. Now, I love this response. Rocco Carafano says, We all know where this ends. And Cenk says, no, you actually don't. I've changed none of my policy positions. The right wing has so many positions I disagree with, so I don't know what's going to happen with these two parties that are in flux as we speak, but I'm not sacrificing my policy positions for any party. Elon Musk said, yeah. Charlie Kirk says,
yeah. It's so crazy how they're all the same stages that we've all gone through, because I even gone through this too, where, listen, like, I am not, like, I still consider myself liberal, but I know I'm not part of this lefty, I'm not a part of this lefty stuff that they got going on here. I disagree with a lot of it. I think they're hypocrites and stuff, right? But for a while after that, I was like, nah, dude, I'm not right wing, I'm not conservative, blah, blah, blah. And then eventually I'm just like, yeah, you know what? Screw it. I'm right wing. But, you know, my positions did change on a few things, though. So it's not like, oh, I'm completely the same. It's just they left me. It's like, no, I did evolve a little bit. I am now completely anti-smishmortion, where before I was pro-smishmortion, but now I'm completely against it. I used to hate firearms. Now I am pro-2A and firearms ownership and stuff. So, yeah, I have come around to a few things. But even so, I'm pretty sure there are more people out there that are more right-wing than I am on a few things. I would consider myself, if I had to be fair, like center-left. But, I mean, not center-left. I would consider myself center-right, is what I meant to say. But it's the same stages, and right now I think Cenk is in that denial stage where he's like, I haven't changed my policies, I'm just blah, blah, blah. And then in a few months, it's going to be like, okay, yeah, you know what, guys, listen, I kind of changed my mind on a few things. But this is where the stage that he's at right now.
the honesty. Been fighting entrenched establishment powers on the right for years. Colin Wright shows the meme that we all experienced. In 2008, we were on the left. Then the left shot so far left, the center is not to the left of us, technically. Or they're just super far left. With Cenk Uygur saying, no, I've not changed any of my policy positions, meaningless. Neither have I. I become more pro 2A, that's for sure. But I was never anti-gun in the first place. I was in the middle of the road. I was like, there's some background checks and some regulations. And then someone argued to me, it's a constitutional right. If you want to take that right away, we can take away any constitutional right, so it's got to be amended. I said, good point. The Constitution must be amended. And so long as it's not, you do not get to infringe upon our rights. Agreed. So what are my opinions? I don't know. I think we should have universal basic health care. What does that mean? Yeah, look, someone breaks a bone or gets the flu, we'll give you Tamiflu, we'll set the bone. That's easy stuff. But if you got a deep cancer, like some serious stuff that medical technology can't deal with, nah, sorry. So I think there's got to be a basic level of health care. That's my opinion on it. I think this would be a good thing. But I am skeptical of government programs. I don't think they work very efficiently. So how do we do it? I mean, you could do this through a voucher program. Everybody gets a voucher credit, and then you choose which hospital you go to with a government redeemable voucher. That prevents the bureaucratic mishmash nightmare. I don't know for sure. I also think that people who make lots of money should face a higher scaling progressive tax, though I'm not a big fan of how the government spends taxes, and a lot of the problems can be solved through reallocating taxes. I do believe that a progressive tax system makes sense because power and revenue itself is also progressive. That is to say, a person who makes $10 million a year has infinitely more power than a person who makes $200,000 a year, yet we tax them all at a comparable rate. I'll put it this way, man. I understand there's a lot of libertarians saying, nah, man, people should keep everything they have. My concern is it is a historical fact that wealth inequality, meaning the rich keep getting richer and the poor keep getting poorer, destabilizes nations. I'm not going to go into great detail on this, and I'm certainly open to debating the idea. But my point is this. Largely, my policy positions have stayed relatively the same, yet they call me right-wing. Cenk, this is you leaving the left in much the same way many of us had. Take a look at this. Cenk Uygur says, hey, Elon Musk, put me in charge of the Pentagon. I'll slash $400 billion easy. That'll get you 20% of your goal to $2 trillion right at the gate.
Tim Pool absolutely right there. I mean, not about a lot of his positions on things. Obviously, I disagree on a lot of them. You know, it's just, I'm not going to go into it. It's not the video for that. But the point Tim was trying to make was just, yeah, listen, like he is part of our side, but he is not like conservative right wing, and he hasn't changed a lot of his positions. And Cenk will realize that as it moves along, because the more he speaks out like this, the more they're going to push him over to our side. It's already happening. They're already shoving him onto our side. So he will realize this. Like I said earlier, it's stages that we've all gone through when it comes to leaving the left. It goes in stages. And right now he's in the early stage where he's starting to speak up. The people on the left don't like that. They're already starting to push him over here. And yeah, like I said earlier, I'm all for it, because the more people they push over here, then the more less of them there are. And that is an absolutely fantastic thing. Well, what do you guys think about Cenk's awakening? Sound off in the comments section below. Subscribe to my channel if you like content like this. And if you want to see more of Cenk Uygur or Tim Pool, I got playlists and videos for you on the screen.